What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. I did not expect the garden to turn out like this. Today, me and Tuck wanted to bring you along, show you how the garden's growing, and share with you the difference between expectations and reality. Let's go! 11 years ago now, me and Tuck began building this backyard food forest garden. We started in the back corner, and you can't even see that section right now because the hazelnuts have just gotten so large. Look at the size of this persimmon tree too. It's gonna have so much fruit on it this year. Look at the grapes growing along the fence line. I mean, we didn't expect to actually be growing this much stuff back here. Initially, the idea was just to take a small patch of lawn and turn it into a garden. Now it's gotten out of control. Look at the tomatoes growing up trellises, doing so fantastic. And you gotta see these raised beds right here. Look how absolutely stacked they are with food. Look at this, 4 lettuces growing in 1 square foot. Insane. Look, there's even bees enjoying it. There's a yellow jacket hanging out. I'm not worried about it. He's having a good time. Broccoli leaves, huge. Look at the size of this walking stick kale. Other kales right next to that. We've got parsley. Got to have the herbs in here. Smaller lettuce varieties. More broccoli. Back here, look at this yellow cabbage. Look how beautiful it is. It's a Chinese yellow cabbage. I mean, I can't wait to actually taste this one. And come around here, look how stacked and just packed this section is. There's no space for anything. I can't even barely get a mulch down there. There's just no space. Look at this bed too. The same kind of thing, the same theme. The size of this cauliflower, this has got to be the biggest cauliflower that I have ever grown. It's going to just pump out so much food. We've got cilantro back here, and hanging above the raised bed, we've got apples getting ready to ripen, and they're getting much larger. So we're just growing so much food back here. I mean, Tuck, get off there, buddy. This guy needs a snack. Come on, let's go check out the peas. Come on, buddy, let's go. This guy knows it's time to grab a snack. He's doing what he's not supposed to be doing, but the thing is, when you're the boss, when you're the king, you can do whatever you want because it's good to be king, right, boy? Let me get him some fresh peas back here. Here we're growing a short variety of peas, but they're already loaded. Let's take this. I always have to use this insect netting to keep my peas safe because the birds like them almost as much as Tuck. Here's some fresh ones right here. Grab another one back here. And this guy loves his peas. Come on, buddy. Let's give him a fresh pea. If you love seeing Tuck in the videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your friends. Check above us, even to the left right here. More apples, apple trees with apples right on them. And you know what? I'm really craving some strawberries. Let's grab some fresh strawberries right here. Whoop. Drop the pea. Look at this. The strawberries are starting to come in heavy. Look at this one spot right here. Oh my gosh, nothing like fresh, organic, ripe strawberries right from your backyard. Just pop off the back like that and then take a ride on one of the most delicious flavors ever. Insanely good. Let's keep going. As the strawberries start to slow down, it'll be perfect time for the blueberries to start setting up. Look how massive some of these bushes have gotten. So these are going to be loaded with fruit. Another variety right next to it. Go to the right a little bit. Pears. You'd love to see it. Nice size. We've got the surround kale and clay on there. That helps protect the pears from the dreaded plum curculio and a lot of other pests. Check out this steel raised bed. I mean, how could you even fit anything more in here? It's just gonna be so much food. What I like to do is I grow cabbages and stuff at the corners so they can kind of grow out the sides, and it almost like it gets more out of the space. Look at this slow bolt leaf lettuce. This is the one that grows later into the summer. You'll notice I overplanted lettuce, but when it comes down to it, I can't think of a bad thing when you have too much food. So all this stuff, we don't sell any of the food. Me and Tuck just get such incredible joy out of growing it and sharing it with everyone. Then we just end up giving it away to our friends, giving it away to neighbors and stuff. We just find that to be so much fun. When you could give someone a fresh thing of strawberries, they'll remember that. Check out this keyhole bed right here. So, like I mentioned, expectations versus reality. Me and Tuck started this garden originally just because, you know, we wanted to get, we got interested in gardening. We wanted to convert some of the grass to something that was actually productive. And then it became a bit of like an addiction maybe. And it's exceeded all of our expectations. I think it's because when it comes to gardening, every year you kind of get better because the most valuable tool for a gardener is experience. When you have years of experience, you can get ahead of issues, you know how to deal with issues, and you could avoid issues, which is the best way to actually do it, because managing stuff isn't very fun. Like I showed you previously, the insect netting makes a huge difference. Cabbage is starting to head up. In about a month or so, there's gonna be too much cabbages to even eat, but cabbages are one of my favorite things to get from the garden. They're so good when you dice them up, put them in a fresh salad. And if you want to garden on the cheap, you can just build a pallet raised bed just like this one. It's free to build. All you got to do is start your plants, stick them in. You can be growing fresh lettuce and all different kind of stuff. Me and Tuck want to mention to check out some of the merch down at jamesprigioni.com. This is one of my favorite all-time designs. The Gardening is Life shirt with the flower of life right on it. I just love the way it looks. Tuck's around here getting into trouble with something, but this food forest I'm in, I only started about 4 or 5 years ago. The other one, I've been growing that one for over 10 years. Let's check it out. Entering into the old food forest now, there's the hazelnut tree. So huge. It's shading out some of the things, but that's okay. The areas that it's shading out, we're growing things that are shade-loving plants, like the lettuces here. These won't bolt as early because they're getting some shade from that hazelnut tree, so we're using the tree to our advantage, essentially. Right next to me, we've got the Honeycrisp apple. This is my favorite variety of apple. It's got some nice apples on it. As you can see, it's going to be a good harvest again, I think, this year. And we've always got that surround kaolin clay to help protect our fruit. Let's keep going this way. We've got all different kinds of things in this bed too. We've got some beautiful Swiss chard. I think this one's the orange Oriole, I think it's called. And then we've got some bok choy right here, some purple lady bok choy, really nice stuff. And a bed that I just put in recently, the cedar bed, let's check that one out. Let's also check out the cherries too. So the garden, like today when I came out, it kind of just hit me. When you plant every single seed yourself and it's a slow progression for things growing, then all of a sudden you come out and it's just like, oh, I mean, how did everything grow up, just blow up this big? It's almost like shocking to see everything. When it all comes together, it's a great feeling, and that's kind of what today was like. Check out the cherries. This is the Rainier cherry. These ones are doing well. We've got some even here that are starting to get some coloration on them. So it won't be too long before we start getting some ripe cherries. This is a sweet cherry, the Rainier. So incredibly good. If you've never had sweet cherries right off the tree, you're definitely missing out. Look at the size of this rhubarb growing right here. Massive. And then right next to the rhubarb is the cedar raised bed that we just put in. Look at the plants, how well they're growing in this section too. All different kinds of cabbages, brassicas, a lot of the same stuff as my other beds, but just the health of everything it's staggering. I got to show you some peas in the back, but look at this right here. Here's a great permaculture plant. This is comfrey. We like to put this one right underneath the fruit trees. Then you could just chop it and drop it and use it as like a form of fertilizer, a natural one. And this is a great one. It's called a bone knit because they used to use it to fix broken bones. They would wrap it on their arm. Tuck, you're not gonna like this stuff, boy. I'll bring you to something you really like. Let's move back to the peas. So we're gonna have purple and yellow peas right here. They're ripe. Let me show them to you. This one's the Sugar Magnolia on the right. This is such a great pea, not only because of how cool it looks and the flavor, but also it just grows incredibly well. Look at these. More peas over here. Look at how beautiful the flowers are. And then you get even more beautiful, delicious peas. We love it. Variety selection is one of our favorite things. You can't get this kind of stuff at the store. You can get peas, even though they won't taste like peas, they'll look like peas, but you can't get purple ones, yellow ones. Just get some of these here. The little guy wants some. The peas are really starting to come in heavy. Look at that. 2 different colored peas. And we've even got the green ones. What do you think about the purple ones, boy? Probably pretty decent stuff, huh? He's saying, yeah, that's not too bad. It's got some nice wood in it. He's looking for a shade spot though to hang out. Let me try one. I don't think I've had these yellow ones, so let me get a taste. Pretty good. Not super sweet like the sugar snaps, but still a good flavor. In that spot right here in the back, here's where I'm growing the sugar snap peas. This is probably the overall best tasting pea, growing pea. It's hard to beat the classic sugar snap pea, but it is fun to grow some of the different color varieties and stuff, just for some of the uniqueness. Here I've got a lot of tomatoes in the ground. So I still need stakes for these. I just don't have the stakes yet. I planted so many tomatoes, more tomatoes than I have stakes for, but that's just the way me and Tuck do it. If we see an open space where light hits, we gotta get something in the ground. It's part of the garden addiction, I think. Here's some potatoes we're growing. They're all popping up in a spot. And then we've got onions right here, because what we're doing is we're separating the potatoes from the tomatoes because you don't want to grow them next to each other, and we're separating them with onions. So we're kind of using the onions both as like a separation crop, but also to get an extra harvest out of the space. I mentioned that I first started the garden like 10 or 11 years ago. This was that spot, and it's different than it was when I first originally put the garden in, but the garden has kind of expanded on itself. It's gone from just being a backyard of mostly just grass to a living organism that is just, it's like in operation. It's like a mechanical living thing that just is expanding, growing. And what happens is I take care of it, but then it also takes care of me too. So it's like this beautiful agreement we have that works like symbiotically one with another. Old peach tree here, loaded with peaches. This is one of the first trees that I ever put in. Proud of this one. And it's gotten so big that I'm gonna have to take it down soon, because peach trees usually last about 10 or 15 years. We're getting past that 10th year. Let me show you the grapes that I put in 10 years ago too. I planted these babies a long time ago, and I'll tell you what, it's been one of the greatest investments that I've ever made. They've kicked out so many grapes. These are North American varieties. We've got the Niagara to my left, the Catawba to my right, and they're growing fantastically. They've put out so much fruit for us in the past, and we're just blessed to have them. Another thing that's awesome about a garden is if you're selective and you allow it, it will kind of expand itself. Like this right here. I think I've planted echinaceas one time, and I've just allowed them to flower, and the birds have put the work in and spread them everywhere for me. So there's echinaceas here, there's echinaceas over here. One of my favorite flowers that I don't even have to do any work for. I let the birds and the bees and everything do the work for me. Let me show you the pear tree back here. This is one of the most reliable pears that I've ever grown. This tree has been in the ground for at least 8 or 9 years or so. The Chajuro pear always kicks out so many pears for us. Probably the best tasting pear that I've ever had. They call it the butterscotch pear because that's what it tastes like. It's so sweet, so delicious, and it's a gift to have in the garden. Let me show you something funny over here. Here's the asparagus, which we've got a bunch of asparagus from this year. We're done harvesting them for the year though. We got to give them a break. There's some weeds coming up, but then I allowed some things, like, look at this. The birds did some work for me, planted a lettuce all the way over here. This is the bronze mignonette. I didn't even have to plant this one. That's a volunteer. Cucumbers right below me right here, volunteering also. So if you let the garden work for you, you don't have to do everything. This guy looks like he wants some asparagus. Hey dude, that's probably not the asparagus to get, buddy. We'll give you one last asparagus, all right? He can have this one back here. We'll give him this guy. What do you think, buddy? You can snack on that, and then we'll keep on going. We got some other stuff to show, big dog. This guy loves being out here, loves being on film. Me and Tuck have a few more things we want to show you before we let you go. I just want to say one thing, that I think having a good attitude makes a major difference in the garden. I think having like the mindset where you come out with like a sense of amazement. If you come out and are amazed by your garden, you're like, oh, I cannot believe this is happening. This is incredible. Then it almost seems like the garden wants to continue to impress you, and that more things just want to flower, grow, and more insects that are positive, beneficials, birds and things, they all want to show up. I want to show you right here. We've got these currants. Look at how stacked these are going to be. So we go from strawberries to blueberries, and then our currants will be producing heavily. Right above us is the apple tree from seed that I planted almost 10 years ago now, maybe even longer. Looking nice, stacked with apples. One of the awesome things about this tree is that, come over here real quick, through the years, this apple tree always seems to have a nice bird's nest. That's a robin's nest. This is not the first year that it's been up there. It must be a really nice spot. It's funny because a lot of times the robins will be like yelling at us, trying to get us out of the garden because they're trying to protect their nest. But it's fun when you could grow food in the backyard, and like I said, it goes from just grass to something that is not only producing food and taking care of you, but you get to provide space for some of the birds to have a good time. And I know I'm keeping out the birds with some of the insect nannings, but it still provides a nice safe place for them, because they can raise their young and a whole new generation can come through. Check out the Liberty apple right here, how many apples this thing has on it. These are some of the best looking apples in the garden, really big, but that makes sense because this is known as one of the most disease resistant apple trees on the planet. The tomatoes have grown up a lot in the pallet raised bed. They're getting nice and tall, just like we like to see them. The carrots are going to start setting up. Soon we'll have a lot of carrots where the boss will be able to harvest them. But that's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the join now button if you want to be part of the team. We also wanted to mention to check out the merch down at jamesprigioni.com. Grab a shirt, and that's another way to support the team and be part of Team Grow. We also wanted to send a thank you to one of our new channel members, Jim. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for having your hands in everything we're doing out here, and for being a part of making the dream come alive. Just step back a little bit and I want to give you a nice little overview of the garden. Look at this. I mean, my expectations have been exceeded with the reality of this much food, and it is a decent amount of work to maintain it, but I do it all myself, so anyone can do this in their own backyard. Take a peek up, you've got even more cherries growing here, more sweet cherries. So everywhere you turn, there'll be more food. If you're not careful, you might bump into another snack, and food might be hitting you right in the face. It reminds you of Masanobu Fukuoka, who in one of his videos in natural farming, he's like walking in the forest and he's like, I gotta be careful or a coconut will come down and knock me on the head. That's almost kind of like what it is. You gotta be careful, a cherry might drop, you might bump into a tomato. It's just, it's a lot of fun when you're surrounded by food, and the birds and everything are a part of it. It's a living natural system, so it feels just good to be able to be part of it. That's today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Little tuck, taking a little break after we ran around and had a bunch of snacks. We'll be back to you guys again real soon. We out.